Now on CoastTV News.
2 deadly car accidents.
I kind of wish I didn't have to drive a car anymore.
What Delaware drivers say needs to change.
Day 41 of the government shutdown.
I don't know how much longer it can go.
It looks like maybe at least something's happening.
What people on the coast think about a new funding bill.
Water bill. Shock.
The best thing you can do is get everyone aware.
What one business in Ocean Pines is doing to try and get people's attention.
This is CoastTV News at 6.
3 deaths, 2 crashes after a dangerous weekend on Delaware highways. Good evening. I'm Madeline Overturf.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. Welcome to our News at 6. Our top story tonight, a deadly weekend on Delaware roads.
Let's take a look at Route 1, just south of Hudson Road, not far from where police say a chain reaction crash killed 2 people Friday afternoon. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is live there. And Emma, drivers you spoke with say the state's busiest highways are so dangerous.
Maddie, we spoke with drivers who travel Route 1 all the time. They say it's a combination of things. Drivers going too fast, distracted driving, and overall just too much traffic from too much growth. In fact, some people we spoke with say they avoid busy highways here altogether. This is a spot on Route 1 where a dump truck smashed into another car, leading to a chain reaction of accidents Friday that ended with 2 deaths and several injuries, according to police.
I kind of wish I didn't have to drive a car anymore.
That's Donald Embry's reaction to the deadly crash in Milton. He says people are just going too fast.
Just newer vehicles, people, they're able to go faster, and you don't really feel the speed like you used to. I think that has probably a lot to do with it, yeah.
Meanwhile, in Millsboro, at almost the exact same time, 2:30 Friday afternoon, another man was killed in a car crash on Route 24 near Leighton Davis Road. It happened after police say he crossed the center line for reasons still under investigation and hit another vehicle head-on. Zoe Vetti worries that too many people are on the road and too many of those drivers aren't paying attention.
I think with just the distracted driving and the fact that we're building so rapidly in Sussex County that, hopefully they're planning for the infrastructure.
Last month, DelDOT installed these speed cameras on Route 1 in an effort to slow people down.
I definitely think the speed camera will help, and enforcement, of course, is one thing. But 2, I think it's just the repercussions, because you can't replace a life.
After a weekend marred by dual tragedies, some worry that the long road to safer driving in Delaware is still under construction, and until infrastructure catches up with the population, they just want people to slow down and pay attention. We reached out to the Delaware State Police to see if the driver of the dump truck that started the chain reaction crash here has been charged. Police say they're still investigating the cause of the crash. Reporting in Milton, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
As Emma mentioned, those speed cameras on Route 1 north of Minnis Conway Road in Cave Neck, they are starting tomorrow. Fines will be issued for those. Cameras will snap your tag if you're going 11 miles or more over the limit and issue a fine to the driver. Fines start at $20 plus $1 for every mile over, and other speeding fees may apply. DelDOT says repeat offenses cost even more.
An end to the longest government shutdown in history could be near if Democrats secure enough votes on a new funding bill. Coast TV News reporter and anchor Christina DeRobertis is in our newsroom. Christina, last night 8 Democrats broke ranks and voted in favor of the measure.
Charlie, that does not include any Democratic senators, though, from Delaware or Maryland. Virginia Senator Tim Kaine was the only senator from our region to vote in favor of that funding bill, and people on Delmarva are divided about it. Some people we spoke to think Democrats should hold the line for health care subsidies, but others tell us they just don't think it's fair the impact the government shutdown is having on everyday people, and they say it needs to end.
I think that they're trying to make a point that they're taking people's health care away. So I understand why they did that.
People suffering because somebody's, trying to get leverage, to get bills passed in their party. And I don't think that's right.
Now, if the bill passes the Senate, it then has to go to the House, and Delaware's Congresswoman Sarah McBride has already said she will not support it. Back to you guys.
The deal on the table includes plans to fund the government until the end of January. funding SNAP benefits for low-income families, and restoring government jobs that were lost during the shutdown. But the bill does not include extending subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, and that's the reason Democrats are holding out.
This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know what matters most in a shutdown deal.
Let's take a look at the updated results from last news hour. Kind of split here. 47% say federal worker pay, and 43% say health care help, 6% say bipartisan support, and 4% say SNAP benefits.
We do have a comment from Leonard in Millsboro who says, need a bill that will withhold pay to Congress members during a shutdown. This will bring about a quicker solution during a shutdown.
If you haven't voted yet or left a comment, you can still do that right now at coasttv.com or our mobile app, and we'll have updates at 11. Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Milford, as our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Paul Williams has been tracking a bitter chill for tomorrow.
Well, right now we're dealing with the cold air, and it is indeed just cutting through all of everything. And I just know you didn't walk outside without long sleeves on. Not today. We'll be down to 38 degrees as early as 10 o'clock. There's a freeze warning that's in effect for Chincoteague, for example. And even though we're not under a freeze warning officially in other places, since we've dropped dramatically and the winds are picking up at about 45 miles per hour thanks to a gale wind warning, we might as well be under one, because that kind of wind chill is going to drop it to make it feel like the teens, believe it or not. And that gale wind warnings for really the entire coastal region of the Delmarva Peninsula, no matter if you're on the Chesapeake Bay side or on the Atlantic side, it's going to be that kind of breezy period going into tomorrow. So keeping all that in mind. And by the way, our umbrella winter, yeah, you're going to need the long sleeves as well. Back to you.
Water and sewer bills in Worcester County continue to send shockwaves through the community. Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappé shows us what one business in Ocean Pines did to try and get people's attention.
One glass of water, that'll be $2 plus tax. That's what Southgate Grill in Ocean Pines charged from Thursday to Saturday. Owner Gray Reeves hopes a little sticker shock at his restaurant will shine a light on the big sticker shock he and others are feeling from drastic price hikes on water bills.
So the best thing you can do is get everyone aware, kind of get them, fired up and get them on your side. So that way it's, everybody's on the same team and same page.
Worcester County officials say all 11 water and wastewater service areas, including Ocean Pines and West Ocean City, saw rate increases this fiscal year. They claim it's due to higher operating and maintenance costs, rising chemical prices, and new state testing requirements. We went to West Ocean City to see how much of an impact it had there. But a lot of homeowners and restaurants say they're still waiting for their quarterly bill to show up, and some won't feel any impact at all. We spoke with staff at Harborside Bar and Grill in West Ocean City who say they have their own well system for water, meaning they don't have to worry about the county's water and sewer bill. But for Reeves and others, the increase could drain profit.
If we were already, not doing well, if we weren't able to absorb that cost, the first thing I would have done the next morning is call everybody and tell them, don't come to work. We're done. We can't survive.
Reeves says compared to this time last year, his bill jumped by nearly $8,000. He spoke with Worcester County Commissioner Chip Bertino today, looking for help.
What can I do to make the change, whether it's attending hearings or do I start petitions?
Reeves says he doesn't plan to raise menu prices just yet, but if the water rates stay this high, he says he might have to. I'm Kevin Zappé, Ocean Pines, Coast TV News.
Delaware lawmakers will address a projected budget shortfall on Thursday, November 13th. The state's General Assembly will reconvene for an extraordinary session to address a looming $400 million shortfall. Lawmakers will weigh a bill that would decouple Delaware tax code with federal tax law because Democrats say new federal breaks will cause Delaware to lose lots of money.
Rehoboth Beach is installing bollards near the bandstand. The city awarded a contract today. The bollards are meant to be a security measure as these barriers stop cars. But new tonight, now up to 22 businesses have signed a petition, according to organizers who say the city never consulted them before moving forward with the project, and it would inhibit them.
We have more news to get to this evening.
The UMES women's basketball team back in action tomorrow. Check out how they're doing early on in the season.
Looks like the crazy cold continues. We are 18 degrees lower now than we were just 24 hours ago. And guess what? The temperatures are going to tank even more.
But first, remembering the Edmund Fitzgerald, how the shipping tragedy on the Great Lakes had an effect on marine forecasts not only there, but for our waters as well. That story when we're back.
This is Coast TV News at 6.
It's a shipping tragedy that is still remembered thanks to an iconic song.
As Coast TV's Matt Pensick shows us, the ripple effect of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald 50 years ago today also had an impact on the Delmarva coast.
A tragedy 50 years ago in the Great Lakes, the fallout of the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald resulted in changes in commercial shipping in those waters and eventually in vessels that enter the Delaware Bay. Chris Collins was an engineer on the Lewis-based Dale River for 24 years. His first job in the late 1970s after graduating the Merchant Marine Academy was with Ogilvy Norton, the manager of the Fitzgerald. Collins immediately saw the effect of its wreck.
When I got there, it was mandatory that we all got survival suits. If a survival suit is like a wetsuit, it's to prevent hypothermia. And the union made sure that every ship, everybody had a survival suit on the ship.
The Fitzgerald was done in by a massive storm.
This was basically like a Category 1 hurricane over land.
It was those gales of November immortalized in the Gordon Lightfoot song, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. During his time in the Great Lakes, Collins developed a friendship with members who were in the radar room of the Arthur Anderson, the ship that was only a few miles of the Fitzgerald in Lake Superior on the night of November 10th, 1975.
He was supposed to watch the radar, and he was just sitting there watching the radar, and, you know, he kept the Fitzgerald was still on the radar. And one sweep of the radar, he said, "Cap, it's gone. Can't find the Fitz." They could not find the Fitzgerald.
The Fitzgerald was the largest ship to ever sink in the Great Lakes. Collins has worked in those waters and the waters off of the Delmarva coast. He says there's a big difference.
At sea, we get long rolling waves. We get short chops on the Great Lakes. We get these really short chops. The ship with a flat bottom would sit there and pound.
Another difference half a century later is how weather warnings are issued.
And how they pay close attention to the different types of marine watches and warnings that are issued now by the National Weather Service, to pay close attention to when we expect high winds, when we expect strong storms to occur, and that is something that definitely changed from this disaster.
The change is a contributor to having no large shipwreck occurring in the Great Lakes since the Fitzgerald. Its legend does live on, with lessons still being learned. For Coast TV News, I'm Matt Pensick.
Coming up next, Paul Williams is in our weather center with your full forecast.
Well, the unusually cold air that you ran into this morning, well, its big brother's going to show up tomorrow morning, so keep your coats and long sleeves handy. In Ocean City, 48 degrees. The winds are whipping at about 12 miles per hour, and that's all it takes. When you're dipping down to 37 degrees as early as 10 o'clock and you have much more to go as far as the temperature's tanking, that's the hint that we're going to crank up the heat majorly all over the place. Look for the temperatures that at the very least tumble into the 30s. Now, we're in the 40s right now, but it'll take little to no effort because we have little in the way of cloud cover that's going to keep us from losing any kind of thermodynamic or radiational heat, rather, that we receive throughout the daytime hours. Now, the winds acting up, that's going to help keep it just a skosh better, but not by much because the winds will counteract that because of the wind chill factor. We're 18 degrees cooler now than we were just 24 hours ago, for example, in Ocean City. Then we combine that, we meld that in with the idea that, hey, the winds are going to be a cutting wind out of the northwest as well. Makes you shiver even when you're inside, let alone outside. So Slaughter Beach, Broadkill Beach, cold as all get out, along with the winds whipping around at about 40 miles per hour. Same holds true for the Lewis Beach, Johnny Walker, as well as Rehoboth down to Ocean View and Fenwick Island, and then Ocean City all the way down towards Chincoteague. And speaking of Chincoteague, they are under an official freeze warning there. So they're totally invested in just how cold it's going to feel. You see, overnight we're going to stay mainly clear, so that's going to allow for things to drop dramatically. Now, for your Veterans Day festivities, we're not concerned about precipitation. That would make for a raw and cold day, but it's still going to be cold and blustery as well. Winds have been the main focal point of concern, and it's going to continue to be the case. Today, we were tracking winds up to 30 mile per hour wind gusts in Salisbury, 29 mile per hour wind gusts, for example, recorded in Georgetown. The winds right now are pushing out of the northwest, and the origin of the wind makes a big difference of whether it's a comfortable breeze or a cutting wind. And out of the northwest, it's cutting. Take a look. Wind chill factor, let's say we're going to feel like 22, and this has actually been bumped up a bit since our last meteorological or model run. So if we're lucky, it's going to feel like 22 degrees or 27 for Tuesday. By mid-morning, it's going to feel like 27 degrees. And then if we're lucky, he says, jokingly but actually seriously, we'll get a chance to warm up to 33 or freezing by the time we get to Wednesday. Now, keep in mind that along the coast, for all of the coast, look, the winds are going to really pick up momentum to near 40 miles per hour along with the cold. So we start off freezing on Tuesday, 40s by the afternoon with sunshine. Then on Wednesday, we start off in the 20s, but we'll end up in the 50s by Wednesday. So we'll get a little bit warmer, but not by much. Here's a look at your extended forecast. And the bottom line is that cold, it sticks around all day Tuesday, then going into Tuesday night, going into Wednesday morning.
The Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
Last week, the UMES women's basketball season tipped off, and Maryland Eastern Shore split its first 2 games. Let's get you up to speed on everything Hawks ahead of their next test tomorrow when they host Monmouth. They tested themselves early in the season. Last week on Wednesday, they went to Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU for short, and they lost on the road. So 1-1 going into their game tomorrow, like we told you about the Monmouth game. And just like every UMES men's and women's home game from Princess Anne, we will be live streaming that on DSN, so you won't want to miss it, especially because this season the Hawks have a very talented freshman named Kalia Perry. During that game against Cheney on Saturday, team high 15 points and 13 rebounds. She's only a freshman, former Virginia Player of the Year. What a find for UMES. She'll look to dominate as they play Monmouth tomorrow at 6. You can catch it live on DSN.
Soaring Over the Shore is sponsored by Morris Roofing and Siding.
Canopied treetops break up the heart of downtown Lewis. The 4th Street Preserve, 30 acres of open space, is here to stay. This parcel on 4th Street is the oldest deeded property in Lewis. After an $8 million fundraising campaign, including the Race for Open Space, this urban forest will remain for the community, with new trails and native plants on the way. It's a piece of peace and quiet in the heart of downtown Lewis.
Right now in Milford, we're at 42 degrees. We'll drop to 38 by 10 o'clock under clear skies. Freeze warning in effect for us at Chincoteague. And then we're concerned about very blustery conditions along the entire coastline for us of Delmarva Peninsula, with gale wind warnings breaking out for 45-mile-per-hour winds. Being mindful of that, it's going to be really significantly colder with those winds whipping around. Keep up with your forecast by calling our weather line, sponsored by the law offices of Bruckstedt, Mandalis, and Federico. Your forecast is just a call away. And then finally, here's a look at your exclusive 10-day forecast. We've talked about it ad nauseum, but man, that cold is in full effect. Charlie, you going out golfing tomorrow?
I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'll just, I'll be right here at work is where I'll be. Inside the nice, warm building.
That's the plan.
Practicing your putting.
Yeah, indoor putting. Or indoor mini golf would be good.
There we go.
Yeah, we like that. Well, thank you, Paul, and thank you for joining us here for Coast TV News at 6.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
The NBC Nightly News is up next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 11. Have a great evening.